All right, I was trying really hard to make this one video, and I almost made it there. Because, I mean, once you start talking about wardrobe, even if you're minimalist, unless you only have 10 pieces of clothes to talk about, it's hard to get a video under an hour. So, if you're talking about your entire wardrobe. So, there's about 40 pieces here, something in that area. It depends if you're counting, like, my yoga pants and my sweatpants and things like that. But like I said, this is kind of on the lighter end of my minimalism. And I've been this way for about a year and a half. It's driving me crazy because I really do need to get a few more things, badly. I do need another pair or two of dress pants. Now, once I go back into manufacturing, going to Walmart and Target and buying another 2 pair of jeans and some a couple packs of t-shirts, which I can get those at Target too. Just Hanes t-shirts, men's t-shirts. Yeah, that's like $50. You know what I mean? So, and it's strictly for work. It's just my work uniform when I'm manufacturing. Now my steel toes, those are just, I just have those because I never know when I need to go back into a manufacturing job. So it's just good for me to always have like some of my tools and my steel toes. So, yeah, and I wear this, this is just a nice little sweatshirt. It's especially in Florida, unless it's just like January and super cold. This gets you through. Just about. I mean, there's maybe January, February, when at night when it gets really cold, and really it got colder here this past winter than it normally does. I mean, don't get me wrong, it gets cold here, but it got a lot colder than it normally does here. Yeah, and it's this past July, it's been hot for everybody, but it's Florida. So when we have a hot spell, we have a hot spell. You can't breathe. And the heat index was like 106, 110. It was brutal. And it's Florida. You can cut the air with a knife with the humidity. It's not like out west where, yeah, it's 110, but there's no humidity out there. It's a totally different thing. So, yeah, the heat out here is just brutal. So, I hate Florida. I hate Florida with a fucking passion. I hate people from Florida. I hate Florida. Don't get me wrong. There's nice things about Florida. The beach is great. Florida in October, can't be beat. The weather's great. The beaches are clear. There's no tourists. There's no bullshit. And it's perfect weather. It's like 75 and sunny in October, and it's just amazing weather. But, it's still warm days on the beach, and nobody's on the beach. You get to play and run around, and it's just nice. And, it's usually not really bad thunderstorms like in the summer. Florida's summer is like winter for everybody else. It's Florida's winter because it's so hot you can't be outside. So you're just you're going from air conditioned place to air conditioned place. And it's just too hot to be outside. It really is. It's just way too hot. And in up north, you're trying to stay warm. Here, you're trying to stay cold. So, or cool. So yeah, it's kind of reverse here. So summertime's kind of like the winter time where you're just in the house all the time because it's just too miserable outside. So, yeah, this past July, it's been a heat spell for everybody, but Florida, we really struggled. It was bad. Our air conditioner froze up a few times. We had to turn the heat on to defreeze the air conditioning unit so it would blow cold air again. Which was miserable, turning the heat on in that heat. I wanted to kill him. That was just like a natural, I'm gonna kill everybody, it's too hot. But But I mean, that's like natural, like I hate you, I hate everything kind of thing. But seriously though, like, yeah, I mean, I just, and there's cool things in Florida. There's a huge art scene in Florida and parts of Florida. Like if you go into Miami, it's like Art Basel and all of that. Tampa has like the Dolly Museum and a whole bunch of stuff. They have really cool art museums here and art scene here. There is a huge art scene about Florida, I will say that. And that's really cool. The beach scene's fun. There's other things here that are nice. But for the most part, Florida man and Florida people are real, and they're crazy and they're weird, and I just don't understand them, and they don't seem to understand people that aren't from Florida. And because a lot of people in Florida are transplants, so that came from New Jersey, or like my ex-husband's family, they're all snowbirds from Indiana and Louisville, and they have condos in Daytona and things like that. You know, they're here, but they're not here, you know, and, you know, when you're in a condo and, like, it's in a place like Daytona or something, you're in a bubble, you know, and you want to stay in that bubble, and you're not leaving that bubble unless you're, like, going out to eat or doing something specific. But you're not really interacting with the locals in some type of way. But when you, like, live here, you are. And I don't know what it is about Florida people, but they're weird. And what's worse is, like, they're not aware, like, they come off in that weird Florida man way. So a lot of, like, in terms of, like, office work, because I worked in law firms here, they just have this weird way, especially in this area, of being like, they feel like they're like the smartest person that ever existed, and they treat anybody that isn't from Florida like a dumbass, and it's just like, I don't know, travel more maybe, I don't know. So yeah, it was a really weird working environment. Very weird. There's just something off about the people here. I just can't quite put your finger on it, but you can't quite take it off either, you know. There's just something weird about the people here. And I don't mean just him and his crazy exes. I mean, they definitely live up to their Florida man title. You know, they're definitely not, yeah, there's no mistaking that. But, and trust me, yeah, the Florida man thing and, like, the behavior and people being Florida man-ish, you know, like they're getting a Florida man attitude or Florida man behavior, that's real. And they're all like that to some degree. There's a few that aren't, but yeah, they all have, like, this Florida man streak in them. I don't understand it. So, I really don't. And they're like oblivious that they're being, like, total Florida man weirdo. And what's worse is they'll, like, be, like, total, like, epic white trash Florida man, way deep in it. And then they'll turn around and, like, start judging you for all this crazy shit. And it's just like, you really are some very, very unaware people. You're not very self-aware. Like, they're not that's a good way to put it. They're not very reflective people. They're not very self-aware people. They're definitely like, get her done, and let's go party on the beach, and let's get drunk, and let's go work on the truck, and blah. I mean, they're like that. And I'm from Tennessee and Kentucky. If you think guys, like, from where I'm from aren't like that to some great degree, they are. But they still have two brain cells to rub together. I just don't understand it. These people are fucking dumb. I mean, it's very rare, like, in Kentucky even. I mean, they exist, but that's like an exception, not the rule. When you come across, like, a Kentucky guy that's just like, get her done, yeehaw, you know. I mean, you do see them, but it's really bad here. It's everybody here to some degree. I mean, it's really bad. And like, it's either that or they're Florida man and like the main managing attorney at one of my old law offices. When I went to another law office, the only way I could describe him, and he really is like this, is like he comes off as a third-rate Gordon Gekko. He just has this Miami Vice slick back Gordon Gekko dickhead quality about him. And it's either like Florida man white trash or like this like trashy Gordon Gekko Florida man thing. It's just how they are. and like I said, and trust me, these people I was working at in the law office, they're definitely not like the most self-reflective, self-aware people. They really are oblivious to how they come off to other people, like how rude, how disrespectful, how crass they come off. Like they were just not like, I think they thought they were like fun living and carefree, and all of a sudden they are not that at all. Like they're just not that. They're far from it. But yeah, and yeah, I love the beach. I love the art scene. I love the food scene here is good. It's decent if you can actually get away from like fast food and stuff, or like chain places. If you actually get real food here, yeah, there's a decent food scene here. There's some things like that going on, but for the most part, yeah, no, run, don't move here. It's awful. This is definitely some place where you come on vacation for a week or two. It's not some place you live. The only reason why my ex-husband moved here is because all his family has condos in Daytona. So he chose this area because it's only an hour and a half drive away. It's just this area is where the jobs are. There's just not a lot of industry in Daytona unless it's tourist or hospitality, which is not his or my industry. My industries are manufacturing generally. I will work a warehouse job, but it's kind of like a dumbed down or manufacturing light, because manufacturing, you're actually producing something. You're actually doing something to produce something. And that's way different than a regular warehouse job. So, because a regular warehouse, you're just dealing with shipping or packages or, packaging something. Whereas in manufacturing, I actually produce a product and then I package it. Manufacturing is a lot more in depth. Warehouse, you're just moving boxes or from one end of the warehouse to another, and you have to repack this thing or you have to repackage that thing, and you have to ship this thing off, which that's all in manufacturing, but most of manufacturing is just trying to get something produced. So that's the biggie. You're not actually producing things in a warehouse, you're just handling the shipment of the product from A, like it comes from A, the warehouse is B, you send it off to C. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, in terms of office work, paralegal work, office work, things like that, I usually end up, most offices are casual, law offices is kind of hit or miss. It just depends. I mean, I don't really see the point of me having to be super dressy when I'm just sitting at a desk behind a computer. It depends on the law office. Sometimes clients see me, sometimes they don't. Sometimes a lawyer requires me to be there while they're speaking with the client. Of course, I look presentable, I look nice. But, other times, and, like, even really nice law offices, they just want, like, a really nice blazer with jeans. You know what I mean? The suits and ties are for court. I try to get away with murder. If I can get away with my sweatpants, I will. Or at the very least, yoga pants. I just, I come from a manufacturing background. So, like, I have, like, almost dude-like quality. You know, I want to wear my sweatpants and my t-shirts. Because, like I said, you know, I'm sitting behind a desk typing all day. It doesn't matter. But, I mean, that's just where, like, my blue-collar mindset comes in. And that's where, like, they don't always say something, but, you know, I can tend to clash with a white-collar mindseted person sometimes. Don't get me wrong, like, you see some of my stuff. I can be very presentable, very dressy, very, you know, very put together. And I would never wear sweatpants to court, ever. Or in front of a client. But, you know, I do like to give them lawyers hell as much as I can, because they give me a headache. But, so yeah, like, if I can get away with sweatpants and an oversized t-shirt and sneakers, you're damn right. But, some lawyers care, some don't. So, the biggest sin is, like, if you're wearing, like, a full suit and it's just like a client meeting, you know, when jeans and a nice top would have done. You know what I mean? Like, being, like, essentially wearing damn near, like, a court version of a ball gown to a casual meeting. That's when you're going to probably get daggers from your lawyer. That, or if I was, like, in this tank top and sweatpants and a client came in and we were having a planned client meeting. You know what I mean? Like, they would probably be, like, you know, daggering me with their eyes. But, no. Yeah, I just wear a lot of very, very just basic solid color staples, so I can do a lot of mix and matching. Which is essentially what people with, like, the 10-piece capsule wardrobes do. But I don't find that minimalism. I find that extremism. So some people know me by my old name. I still have it around, but I don't use it directly as much anymore, the regular list, because I just feel like I'm, like, a regular person. You know, like, because I don't find American overconsumption to be a normal thing or a regular thing, you know, but I don't find, like, the extreme minimalism to be a regular thing either. I am on the lighter end. Like I said, I would like to pump my wardrobe, like, my staple wardrobe up some. I'd like to have about 10 to 15 more things. I have some things on my list I'd like to get, but, you know, I have other things I have to worry about right now. And, like, seriously, I go back to manufacturing or back to a steel shop or something. My main, like, sartorial concern is just some more super stretchy gray skinny jeans. I like the gray because they hide stains really well, and they wash out really well. So get some more gray skinny jeans and a bunch of Hanes t-shirts and call it a day. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, as far as like my staple, like my main wardrobe goes, I don't know, I'm wanting to get a few, like, a couple oversized blazers in black and maybe, like, olive green or something. That way, they look really good with jeans, you know. I'd like to get some more tank tops. I don't have a black one, ironically enough. I just got all colors because I wanted to wear these with my black linen pants and not look like I was going to a funeral. And like I said, you know, when you wear this with black linen pants and, like, necklaces and things like that, or earrings or something, it dresses it up really fast and you look really cute. Especially in this fucking Florida heat, it's miserable. But yeah, I would like to get some black tank tops and maybe a few more different colors, from Target. And then I would like to get a few more, like my gray t-shirt. I'd like to get a few more of those from Target in different colors, and maybe retire that gray t-shirt to like just sleep or manufacturing only and get like another gray one in a couple more colors, black and stuff. Maybe like a green or a blue or something. I wear a lot of jewel tones, so like navy, olive green, like this is like a pinky color, but it's like a jewel tone pink. I wear a lot of jewel tones, a lot of black, a lot of gray. I have started veering into like this pretty like beige color for things, and I would like to get some more lighter colored things. I can't wear that in manufacturing, absolutely not. It would be stained and dirty and disgusting in 2 seconds. But for office or just daily wear, run around, I like this taupey, beige taupey color. So I wouldn't mind having some more of that just to lighten my wardrobe up some. Cause like I have this, right? Like I have this like beige brown, taupey brown, and it looks really good with these sunglasses and that purse and a cute pair of jeans, cute pair of shoes. So yeah, I mean, I like wearing, I am gearing towards that some. But yeah, I mean, that's just kind of where I'm at with fashion. I'm not feeling very inspired, to be honest. And I spent so long being chastised for so long by people that pretty much racially attacked me by the way I was dressed, and that was really disturbing. And it's just like, if you got an issue with me wearing like a basic tank top and a basic pair of black pants and basic colors and all that, then the problem is you. Not that it was my problem before, because like that's a big part of rape culture is, trying to blame a female for how she's dressed. And the thing is like, I've not been a very suggestive dresser in a very long time. And I wasn't really a suggestive dresser before. But, when you're 20 and you have a banging body, when you go to the beach, you wear a string bikini. When you go out, you wear cute little skirts and dresses and tank tops and stuff, because you can get away with it. You have a great body, you're 20. Yeah, that's been like 15, 20 years ago. My son is 15, and I definitely haven't been dressing like that since he's been born. And, before that, I was married for 3 years before I even had him. So, I mean, it's just like, yeah, I just don't know where they're really getting all that, because it's not like I'm wearing shirts that are like this, and you can see all my boobies, and I'm wearing like mini skirts or anything like that. I mean, yeah, I have a little black dress, but I mean, it's not like it's coming up to my hoo-ha or anything. But, yeah, so like when people like started coming at me about how I'm dressed and stuff, it's just like, what the fuck is your problem? Because I wear a lot of basics. I wear a lot of just normal shit. It's normal tank tops, normal t-shirts. It really is all in your head. I don't know what anybody's talking about. So, that one's really been baffling me. And like I said, people kind of tore me apart and tore years of collecting, because I collected designer clothes for years, but it was like a collection that took years. It wasn't like I just went out and bought a bunch of designer shit one day. It was stuff I collected over years and years. Took me for everything, ripped me apart, and it's just like, I just don't really see you taking me out for a couple Target tank tops and old t-shirts. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of, that's how it is. And that's just another thing. It's just like, I've called this out a few times, but like now I'm really in a place where it's just like, no, I'm calling you out. You need to back off. So, because it's just like, I know how to dress men. And like, you get all these emails from, it's just like, and one of them was a temp place. It's just like, you need to dress this way. And it's just like, you're interviewing me for a manufacturing job, right? Really? And, this last place, it's not like I showed up looking crazy. I wore nice jeans and tank top and necklace and stuff. I mean, they just try to find every way to beat you down and nitpick at you. And it's just like, fuck off. Especially here, because it's just like, really, Florida man, why don't you shut up? So, yeah, but yeah, I love this sweatshirt. This is great for the office too. Like, if you're wearing like a tank top to the office, and you're dressing it up and jewelry and wearing like linen pants, but you get, because outside's one thing, but it's the Arctic tundra in every building. So if you need to, a cover up at work, but you don't want it to be too heavy or anything, this is really great just to warm yourself up in the office really fast. Like I said, I got this at the men's department at Target because I wanted that boyfriend fit, I didn't have a boyfriend. So it's actually a men's sweatshirt, but it's like a nice men's sweatshirt, it's not like a typical hoodie. So, it kind of has a little bit more structure to it. So yeah, and you can dress this you can kind of dress this up, but but it definitely doesn't like dress all the way down. Like sometimes, like when you wear a hoodie and have your hair in a bun and yoga pants, sometimes you can look a little, whereas this, it does have more structure to it. So even if you're dressing it down, it kind of, if you're really like slobbing out, this can actually make it look a little bit nicer in an ironic way. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in just a very, very basic, very just simple, basic wardrobe. Very basic. I have to be. I've spent way too long being harassed so bad about my clothes. And it's just like, so it's just like, I'm in a place now, it's just like, I really don't see what you have to complain about. I really don't see where the problem is by plain pants, plain t-shirts, plain tanks, plain sweatshirts, plain jackets. I really just don't see where the problem is. Because it's just like, if you have a problem now and you shouldn't have had a problem before, it really has been all in your head, sweetie. I don't know what else to tell you. You need to probably find some medication, some therapy, learning how to mind your own damn business. Yeah. Like, I honestly, like a week ago, I wore this one day and I wore the green one the other day. My wide leg jeans. I do have to wear sneakers a lot of the time because I have a bad hip. But, I will dress it up, but that is very, very specific. I would wear dress shoes for a law office. I'm not wearing it for an interview at a manufacturing job. I'm just not. Because in my experience, most manufacturers want to see you show up in your steel toes, not, fucking Vince heels. Let's just be real. So, it's called overshooting your shot. I mean, if the temp office itself, if it's a little nicer, I'll wear nice jeans and a nice shirt, and I was wearing my jewelry. I mean, I dressed it up. I looked cute. I mean, I wore my tennis shoes, but I mean, it's just like, I'm not wearing heels for a temp fucking interview, man. Get real. Fuck off. So, I mean, I dress to the nines for a law office interview, not a temp office manufacturing interview. And like I said, because I know I'm going to end up in my fucking old ass jeans and old fucking t-shirt and steel toes. Probably having to wear a fucking hard hat. I mean, worried about, you have to find all my fucking tools and fucking work on shit all day like a man. And that's just it. I've spent so many years being single and all the rest of it. I became my own man because I had to. And it's just like, if I'm dating a man and he can't man up with me to my level, what's the fuck is the point? Because, I mean, like, I manned up. I work manufacturing. I wear hard hats and steel toes and work with my tools, my own tools, motherfucker. Fuck off. So, I mean, it's just like, I just don't got time for it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really interested in an office job here. I don't really want to commit here that hard. And honestly, I'm really burnt out by lawyers, office work. The work is fine. The work itself is fine. I don't mind the work at all. I'm really good at the work. I enjoy the work. Some of it can be thought-provoking. And I'm all for, like, intellectual thought provocation. Sure, that's all gravy. That's all fun. That's all great. The office politics I hate. I don't necessarily... I understand the white-collar mindset. I don't always necessarily agree with it. Or the attitudes either. Because I grew up with a blue-collar dad. I worked blue-collar my whole life until the last 10 years because I went to college. And why I go to college? Because I was married to a blue-collar military man. And I had to get married to go to college. Because that's very blue-collar. And yeah. And white collar people tend to think blue collar people are stupid, which is not true at all. They tend to think that we're anti-intellectual, which is not true at all. I'm a very intellectual person. I just don't care about your fucking social ladders, your social climbing, your office politics, your fucking head games, your little office head games, your little office bullshit, your office gossip, your drama. I just don't care. Because I can just very easily make as much money or more standing in my steel toes with earplugs in, and I can't hear anybody talk because nobody's talking because we're all working on machines that are way too loud for anybody to speak. So, yeah, I mean, and it's just like, you did lots of yapping. And it's just like, I can yap too. I don't know if you're going to like what I have to say. Because, blue collar, when we goof off very differently. I have and for a blue collar person, I have a very dry, sarcastic sense of humor. But for a white collar person, maybe a little dry for them, but they're very, very dry. They're like vermouth. I mean, they're just dry. They're like the fucking, like, Arizona desert dry. Super dry, super sarcastic about everything. Just super asshole. And it's just like, it's not that I don't understand or get the joke. I get it. I just think you're an asshole. So it's just like, yeah. And it's just like, I come from a very different background, and they were not accepting of that. And it's just like, listen, I make a lot of money manufacturing. I'm good at it. I have no problem working 70-hour weeks, which I should be a lawyer's dream, because that's what lawyers do. They work fucking 60, 70 hours a week easily. You know, I'm a workaholic, which all lawyers are. And it's just like, you know, and I'm willing to spend the time, extra time when I'm not even at work, learning and catching up on work to get up to speed. But it's just like, there's just some kind of weird friction there, you know, and I think a lot of it is probably because I come from a very blue-collar family, very blue-collar mindset. I worked that and was married to that for a long time before I got into this. And they're all very white-collar through and through, you know, because they went the normal trajectory where you graduate high school, then you go to college, then you go get your JD, then you become a lawyer. And then you did a bunch of shit during college, like paralegaling and things like that, or maybe you volunteered or something, you know. Whereas, you know, I graduated high school, then I had to take care of my sister, I had to work 2 jobs, and then I got married at 24, and then I went to college, and then I had a baby, and then I got divorced, then I got to go to work, after he fucked me in my divorce. So yeah, not really normal. And then I had to start at the bottom of the workforce because I hadn't been in the workforce for 8 years because I was married and having babies. And then work my ass off to get myself there in a decade. It was not easy. And if you think I'm stupid because I had to go through that, you are stupid. Are you ever? So, yeah, I mean, I didn't, and you know, most lawyers have that streamlined trajectory from A, B, C, D, E, you know, where mine's like A, F, Z, E, you know, it's just all over the place. And, you know, I would have enjoyed a streamlined process, sure, in a perfect world, but that's not how my life turned out. You know, so, you know, I had to roll with the punches and go with what life gave me. And I didn't even expect a career in law. I had a career in business and tech, which I have a background in. Whereas, you know, I kind of landed into law in a very weird way. Did I always have a natural knack for law? Yeah, I always have. But, yeah, I mean, I didn't plan on going into law. That was far from my plan. I planned on retiring from AT&T in 40 years with my union. And that's another thing, like, I am a unionized collector, which is really rare for collections. So, I mean, like, that is like blue collar. And most lawyers represent the union people. They're not usually working with us. So, I mean, that's how blue collar I am. I'm a union worker. I come from union offices. So, I mean, I'm a really weird person to work with, you know, because, I mean, I'm so blue collar that I'm union in law, which is just unheard of. I don't know many other people in law that can have a background in union work. So, I mean, yeah. And, you know, I'm a union person, so, like, you strike certain chords. At a temp job, do I usually get up in arms? Not really, you know, unless somebody really crosses a boundary, because it's not a union job, I know that, unless I'm in a union plant or something, and I'm going for full-time union. But, some places clearly not a union place. Am I going to bring a bunch of union shit with me? Probably not, unless they really cross a boundary. Which, I mean, trust me, a few places have. But it's not that I'm necessarily preaching a whole bunch of union stuff to them. It's just my mindset in that place comes out. Yeah, I don't know. But, injustice and things like that, it makes us very protesty. We're vocal. We're very vocal about what upsets us, and that can really rub butt horns with a lawyer. So because they're not used to that pushback. They're not used, but it's just like, well, listen, I got 400,000 people behind me agreeing. So I mean, it's just like, you can be mad all you want, Mr. Lawyer, but but seriously though, I mean, kind of, but not really. Kind of, yeah. But yeah, I mean, as far as like, we're just very vocal when something upsets us, when something pisses us off. We're just very vocal, in your face about it. What's going on? Why are you doing this? Why are you being like this? And that takes people aback, because people aren't used to somebody being like, why are you doing that? Why are you pissing me off? Why are you eating my shit? Because that's weird for a lawyer. That's weird for a lot of people in work. Because and for me, like, especially when I'm starting a new job, I'm like a million questions, because I rather get all my questions out at the front. That way it can minimize questions in the long run. I mean, I'm not saying I'll never have a question again, but it's better to get it all out up front, because then it's just little bits of questions after. So it's just like, get it all out of the way for a couple, month, maybe 2, and then move on. It's all gravy after that. And law people, they have a tendency to just treat you like you're just a dumb bag of rocks. And it's just like, who are your clients? Because I really hope you don't talk to them this way, especially if they're blue collar. Is this how you really think about us? Because I know a lot of blue collar people that are really, really smart, super smart, maybe smarter than some of you. I'm not saying they're not smart. They're clearly very smart people, very intelligent. But they can act really stupid, especially socially. And, like I said, I come from union. We can be more emotional about certain things. We're not afraid to show our emotional side. We're not afraid to, lawyers, sometimes they have to have a poker face. And I've gotten better about that. But, I mean, they're just never taking the union out of me. They're just never, I don't want them to. I don't want it to be taken out of me. I don't ever want to lose that about myself. So, yeah, I mean, and I do have, because I am a union woman and I've worked union and all that for a long time and all the rest of it, it can be hard for me to date certain types of guys, because I'm very direct, I'm very forward, I'm very bold, I'm very upfront. I know what I want, I know what I need, and I want it here, A, B, and C. And that takes a lot of guys takes them off their heels. They don't know how to handle me. Because I will argue with you and argue with you and argue with you until you give up. Which, hey, is a tactic. It works. It can be effective in law too. It's better than you think. And I mean, I will just argue and argue and argue and argue and argue and argue until you just can't. You give up. You just give the fuck up. And they do. They give up. We're just like, Ash has Lindsay. So, yeah. But at the same time, I'm definitely not sending people emails about box cutters. Because it just shows me, if you guys send those types of emails to somebody, it shows me how little you really know about it. You know what I mean? Because, like, I don't walk around flashing my box cutter for people. You know, it's just something I have for work. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I would never just be like, box cutter. You know what I mean? And, I don't know, usually if a manufacturing place has a box cutter safety, they have very specific types of box cutters that immediately retract as soon as you use them. You know, so if they're really like sticklers about box cutter safety, they'll more than likely have their own very specific box cutters that are made specifically for that plant, because they don't want something like this, because like this is made out of all metal, and it's really nice, you know, but like when I push it up, it stays up, right? Which can be a safety hazard in certain situations. And especially in manufacturing these days, and with all companies, it's safety, PPO, or PPE, excuse me, personal protection equipment, meaning safety glasses, earplugs, hard hat, you know, retractable box cutter. Because a lot of companies, if they're really sticklers about it, they'll give you a box cutter where you take it out, the second you use it, it automatically retracts it automatically, you know. Whereas this, I have to do this manually. Which, I mean, this is a nice box cutter. It'll more than get the job done, and it's actually stronger and better than the ones they'll give you that retract. You know, this is a way better box cutter. But this can be a safety hazard. So, you know, it depends on the company. Some companies are just like, have common sense, but when you have so many people you're managing, you know, common sense misses more than you think on some people. And accidents happen. You know, you can have an accident very easily, and, you know, it's just out of everybody's control, common sense or not. So, yeah, I mean, and that just goes, you know, sending me these little harassing emails about box cutters and shit, which is clearly what they're trying to do. It just goes to show me how much you really know about any of it, for real though. And it shows me you never lived the lifestyle, you don't know what you're talking about, you're just a little prissy pissant that is talking a bunch of shit and all talky, no walkie. And it's just like, I don't know, really take a good hard look at me, because I'm a pretty stacked female, you know, and got my arms covered in tattoos and, you know, steel toes and box cutters and shit of my own because of my manufacturing work. I don't know, maybe just start life mathing. Maybe a little harder. So, like, seriously start life mathing. And on that note, my wardrobe, not really impressive here lately. It's not horrible or anything. It's presentable, you know, for depending on the occasion. I have pretty much something for everything. But short of, like, you know, needing a ball gown for something. But, I mean, I don't really see myself being invited to anything like that, nor would I want to be. So, yeah, like, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like people really aren't life mathing with me. And it's really comical. Because it's just like, you know, I have my own steel toes. I have my own box cutter. All the rest of it, for real. I got a lot of manufacturing experience. On top of a lot of law experience. On top of a business degree. So, I don't know. Life math a little harder. Yeah, especially after you all sent me those texts, you know, and sending me those texts right after I'm talking about my dad being paralyzed. And yeah, you're right, I did have the lawyers put an alert on his nursing home, because that's how much I fucking hate you people and don't trust you. Life math a lot harder. You're not putting 2 and 2 equals 4. And sure, you can get fucking philosophical and existential and all this, like, Copernicus level calculus bullshit about 2 plus 2. And I'm sure mathematicians do that all the time. But in the real world, 2 plus 2 equals 4. Get your head out of your ass.